When leadership lacks conviction and we hide sin without the revelation of grace, we continue to push a legalistic agenda without properly living what we are preaching. Therefore, we become molesters. This is difficult. That means to force something on someone against their will, where we no longer are fathers but predators. There is a great criticism of what is happening in the church world amongst our men and our women, where we see a lot of same-sex attraction. And there are those who are being heavily critical, and we understand that it is not God's best. But what we don't want to address is that many that struggle with their identity did not struggle until they came into the company of a leader who sunned that boy all the way into the bedroom, who sunned that girl all the way into the bedroom, and who had a group of friends around them that supported the behavior because they benefited from the harem. They benefited from the brothel. It's quiet and I like it because I'm bold to reform. And because of it, we refuse to address it, and now we're raising up a generation that thinks it's okay to shout while being the side piece of the pastor. It's okay to jump and leap while being messy in the church. It's no conviction. Here's the problem. Leader, please hear me if you are watching online. If conviction won't sit you down, and if a warning won't sit you down, a scandal will. And when it's all said and done, no matter how much you've accomplished, they will only remember the last thing you were caught for. So it's scary. How do we oppose immorality when the greatest immoral figures are our heroes? I think Reformation. Do you see how much the body of Christ has changed in 4 years? 4 years ago, this didn't look like this. There was a whole lot of other stuff going on. In 4 years later, because of a lack of conviction and a refusal to admit that much of what we have been doing is not working. We shouted, we jumped, we ran around, we wrote stuff down on a piece of paper, but we won't sit still and be taught. Teaching is boring. It's the boring stuff that grows you up. You shout, but you ain't shifting nothing in your mindset. You're the same every time you leave. Why are you here? Y'all playing with me, because you're going to come up against a real devil. You ain't going to have no power. You ain't going to know what to do. And your ratarabasha ain't going to cut it. You got to get real in this thing and say it's time to reform. Tell your neighbor, we got to reform. We got